Hello, everyone. Welcome to day 15 of season 4. Live streaming with me to build an agent. I hope you're all doing great. I hope you can hear me okay. Let me also crank this up a notch. Thank you for joining me on day 15. We have been building an agent in this live stream, and today we're gonna take our time to hopefully wrap up that agent. We've been building this agent for like 30 days now, at least a month, and I think it's time. Let's wrap this up. This is the agent that I'm building that is going to be released in this week's video. So let's wrap up this agent. We've been building a real estate agent, and so far it's been going great. We learned a lot of things. We started off by LangChain, by using LangChain's API, and then we ended up using LangGraph, which is LangChain's version of making agents. So in today's video, we are going to bring the agent to a finish line where the agent can take English language sentence and convert that into quantifiable information and help us rate our properties. So let's wrap this up today. Also, hello to everybody in the chat. Thank you so much for waking up with me. I am a little bit late today because I slept late, I woke up late, and the day has been starting late, but here we are. Let's start this. Hunar been up since 7. Wow. Good for you. You were up late and now you're up early as well. Good for you. Abhishek Rajput, hi. Are you doing work from home? I am, because I'm a full-time creator, so this is my office. Late. Nirmal, welcome. Is this your first stream, Nirmal? Also, Azimuddin, always the first one to say hello. Welcome, Azimuddin. I hope you're doing great. So what are we going to do today? We have been building this app for, we started working on this app like in January. So I'm going to share the GitHub link in case you don't have it. But today we've been building an agent for like the last few streams. But yesterday we actually built a tool that was able to get plugged into the agent. We built our custom agent, right? Today we're gonna wrap up the work that agent has been doing so that we can use a property, open its details, and then when we open its details, we call the agent and we see if this property is going to be something that we like or not. So just as a recap, we've been building a real estate app, and through this real estate app, we help people look for a property simply by writing English language sentences. They can put in their preferences, and by writing in their preferences in English language, we help make it easy for them to look for a house. But before we get started, I have a question for you. If this is your first stream, let me know first in the chat. Or if you have been here before, tell me you're a regular. And while you do that, I'm going to get my environment running. So are you a regular or is this your first stream? Please make videos in Hindi as well. Oh, okay, sure. thank you for following. Just passing by, I saw some live or replay doing myself some coding for agents. Oh, that's cool. What are you making your agent on, Arak 4S? I'm very much a regular. I'm also intermediate, next, and more in dev. And since you also dev, I really enjoy your streams. Also explain complex topics very nicely. Oh, thank you, Stoic. That is such a beautiful compliment. Do you stream on Twitch too? Yes, Johnny, I do. This is being streamed on Twitch as well. I will share the link with you. Please help with my previous query. Oh, I just saw it. If I had to build a DB agent or just read queries for no tech people for Office, chat to DB, any tips? Oh, you know what? If you have your database, one of the databases that help create an agent really nicely and has plugins built with it is also, oh, thank you for following, is Convex. And Convex makes it really easy to build an agent on top of it, build an MCP server. Now, I'm a big fan of Convex. They've sponsored my videos as well, but this is not related. This is not a sponsored stream. I genuinely love Convex. I love working with it, and I like how it makes it. It's when I'm thinking of like AI databases or like databases that help me build AI things, Convex is usually the first in my mind because of the plugins that they've built, the existing frameworks that they have, existing SDK that they have. So it's already built really well for anything that you want to do with AI. So that's been my first database of choice. Then for building a database agent, they have a function that creates an agent for you, and it works really well with the database itself. So that's what I would recommend. Why do I lose motivation and interest? Oh wait, there's another question in here. Johnny, welcome to Twitch. I have an idea. After this AI agent series, we can start a series of building projects from scratch. Unique point is we can also participate in by raising our PR on certain features. I love that. I do need help with that. I need somebody who can be a kind of like GitHub slash chat moderator. Abhishek, if you are willing, I need help. I would love help. I do need somebody who can help create like issues on GitHub and review PRs. I can help with reviewing PRs, but I need somebody who can help do kind of like creating issues, closing issues, commenting on issues, and also helping me with moderating the chat when we do kind of like a hackathon. I do have a idea in mind in which we all build a we all work together to in a hackathon, and towards the end of it the winner gets a prize, and the prize will be set by one of our sponsors. I feel like that will be so cool. uh, and you have like what, like 2 hours of the live stream or 3 hours of the live stream, whatever, to build it. I think that would be really cool, and we can all participate together. It'd be like a live streaming co-working time. Also make a video on most important frequently asked MERN stack questions, verbal and machine coding. Oh, MERN stack, like interview questions, stars? Is that what you're talking about? So I have a video on React interview questions, and I am about to record a few more videos. So I'm wondering, actually maybe I'll do a poll for this right now. I'm wondering, what video do you want to see next? I have built a lot of videos on AI. I have a lot of videos on React. Is there a and then I have like explain me like I'm 5 JavaScript videos. Is there a specific topic you're craving for? Let me know in the chat, and I will incorporate that for the next videos. I'm going to be recording videos this week and next week. Why do I lose interest and motivation a few weeks into a project, even if I start off excited? I love this question because um, that's me. Um, I'm like super excited to start off a project, but then when it's like season 4, I lose interest. Actually, you might have noticed in season 3 of these live streaming, I struggled quite a lot, like with consistency and like showing up on time. Hi, Sachin. Thank you for subscribing. I lost interest quite a lot. Not that I lost interest, I think it just becomes harder to like show up, and I feel that too. So for me, I think it depends like from person to person. It could also be that you have ADHD like me. But one thing that I figured out about me that helps me is that figuring out what is a reward system I want to add in this workflow, and what is an accountability system that I can incorporate. Reward and accountability, I think they go hand in hand with in ensuring that you feel motivated for a project. So for example, for this live stream, my accountability is you guys. When I show up here and when I show up at the same time, you guys expect that I'll be here, and when you show up as well, it makes me feel rewarded for coming here. So the reward and accountability is coming from you guys. So thank you so much for being here. But also, another reward that I have to give myself is a break, right? Like you can keep going and going and going, but then if you don't take a break, you're going to burn out. So for me, that break comes in the form of like shutting it out, just like taking a break. And if it's, especially if it's a long project, you really have to build multiple breaks in. So for example, this live stream we've been doing for 4 months now. This is our fourth month of doing this live stream every weekday. And so I took a break this past weekend, a very small break. Usually I don't stream on the weekends, but I'm always online over the weekends. This weekend I was completely offline. I was out in like camping. I was like out in the forest, and I turned my phone off. So disconnecting really helps, and then coming back I feel a lot more energized to start off or like to continue going. So I talked about reward. I think another reward that really helps is another system of reward that really helps is that when you accomplish something small, even if it's small, you gotta give yourself a reward, right? So for example, if you've been following Azimuddin this channel for a while, and you may remember when we reached 3,000 subscribers, it was like a big celebration, right? And I took some time off after that. That day we went out for dinner. I like bought something nice for me. So I built that reward in to the system so that each accomplishment feels like a milestone, like achieving something big. Otherwise, you just keep going, and if there's no reward, you burn out. And the two things that have really helped me in keeping that system going is accountability. So find an accountability partner for you. That could be like you at work, that could be our manager, it could be a coworker, so you can do daily check-ins or like weekly check-ins, whatever works for you with them, and tell them like help me stay accountable by checking in with me. So at work, I think getting accountability is not hard. It's the motivation or it's the reward system, and we often depend on like on promotion cycles or like on pay raises for rewards, but that is usually not under our control. So you gotta build reward that is under your control, and if you achieve something even small, you gotta go and reward yourself. So that's what's been helping me. I hope that helps. I'm facing the same with this real estate AI agent project and feel like dropping it for something new. Why does this happen? Absolutely. Like, I feel the same thing. And I think the problem could also be that the end is ambiguous, right? Especially for this project. Like, we've been going and going for a long time, and it can feel boring because now it's been 4 months, and I feel that too. But then how I'm trying to keep myself motivated to keep working on this project is by adding something new. And I've noticed that adding something new or like learning something new really helps me in staying motivated and helps me continue to go. And that, like, um, that has been helping me keeping this project going, but also knowing what the end is. So you establish some milestones for you, and once you do a milestone, reward yourself. Once you do another milestone, reward yourself, and have an end in mind, right? For this project, for example, once we build this app, once we have this agent, this project will be in a good state. I could continue this, but I could also start a new project. So give yourself that flexibility. Akash, welcome. What is up? It is a bright, beautiful day. Love to do this. Yay. Working on a legal agent for French law. Oh, wow. Making research with API on French law database and then doing a summary for jurist. What's a jurist? What do you think building that on low code like Langflow my way compared to full code in Cursor, for example? I'm not a dev at all. So I'm a dev, so I have been doing like full code stuff, but when I see a non-code stuff and that works, I'm happy, right? Like I don't have a problem with it. However, if you're not a dev, I would highly encourage you, whatever code you write, whatever code AI gives you, read every sentence of it and figure out what everything is doing, because it is okay to get it going and off the road, but you have to maintain it as well. So you need to understand what it is writing. So what do I think about building on low code versus full code? I would say do whatever makes it easier for you to get started. However, understand what you're doing, understand every single line of code. Today, Punjab won in IPL match. It was really amazing match. Oh yeah? Oh, I can't wait to see that. Chai Time 3000, exactly. See, Hunar, you remember? You're an OG. Lawyer equals jurist slash advocate. Oh, okay. Um, and I think Langflow actually is a really good choice. So I would stick with Langflow. You don't have to use like full code. All right, let's sit down. My pepper has decided to join us. Okay, let's get started. Meanwhile, like I said, I do have a poll for you, which is gonna be here on YouTube, but also put it in the chat. Okay, here you go. Here's a poll for you. I'm building the next batch of my videos, so I would love to know what are some videos that you would like to see. AI plus front-end experiments and real talk. Cool. And if there's a topic in here that you would want me to make, which is not in the polls or in the options, let me know in the chat. I'm trying to understand all the code I get generated by AI, debugging it with AI too, and it's working pretty well when I give the right doc. Okay, and I'm finding Python pretty intuitive. Nice. Yeah, Python is pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, that's what I would recommend. Keep going. Make sure you understand the code that you're writing, and make sure you're learning. You're not just like blindly copying code. And once you do that, and once your app is built, once there are any issues, and if there are any issues, you'll know how to debug them and where to look for. So you're not just like blindly relying on AI to just generate code for you and have no idea about what it's doing. Yeah. Alrighty, so we've been building this real estate agent for a while now, and let's bring this agent home and give it a wrap today. We are gonna, this is what the agent does. We have this real estate app where you can say looking for a 3-bedroom house in Seattle in the range of this to this for sale. Let's remove for sale. And then if I hit search, I just saw an error. I shouldn't be seeing errors. Oh, what happened? Failed to execute JSON on response, unexpected end of JSON output. Let's see what's going on. Five and 7.3. Peaks convex dev is running. Oh, unexpected. Oh, thank you for subscribing. That's so sweet. Shruti, remember to quit Chrome or else the stream will lag again. I know, right? I did that just before the stream. I'm like slowly transitioning away from Chrome to Arc. So thank you for that reminder, Azimuddin. Always keeping the logistics going. Thank you. Alright, so what was I doing? Right. A root render app. Why does this have a problem? It just seems like sometimes we'll get random errors. Oh, wait. I think I know. Source. Index nodemon server.js. We don't have this file server.js, do we? Source slash I used to think I know React and it's very easy peasy, but it's also important to know it in and out, not the dumb stuff, but like see the difference in loading optimizations and bundling. Topic idea. That is a good topic idea. Loading optimizations and bundling. I've been curious about what's on the left of the face cam. Whose names are those? Oh, those are our recent subscribers. So once you subscribe, your name pops in here. And I think it shows like the last 10 subscribers of the session. So if you subscribe in this session, you'll see your name pop up. Okay, I'm trying to find my server file. Server.js. What is it? Index? API.js? Source/API. Yeah, that is the one. So actually, I just realized that the documentation is outdated. It's gonna be API source/API, API.js, and then update this. Index no long source/API/API.js. I don't think it's updating because I see the same names on every live stream. I see Sachin's name here who had just subscribed. And then Hurricane who subscribed last stream. And then Aziz who subscribed, and HNT and Aziz who subscribed to stream after. So it's fine. Alright, it's fine now. So that was the only problem. The documentation was kind of outdated. Alright, so this is what the real estate app does. I'm going to give you a quick demo of what the app does. So we look for houses in Seattle, and then you can say looking for a 3-bedroom house in Seattle in the starting range of this to this for sale. And then it's going to look that up. Sometimes it's sometimes it looks for houses that are not within the range. That is a bug. We'll get to it in a bit. But basically the idea is that it's looking for houses in the range, and then it'll show you some properties. And what we want to do is we want to be able to use an agent to look up that house. We want to be able to find more details about this house, like is it in a fun neighborhood. So what we can do is we've been building this agent that kind of takes something like looking for a 3-bedroom house in Seattle in a fun neighborhood, right? And we want to take that and we want to create this app so that when we say fun neighborhood, it actually understands what fun neighborhood is, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to show you like maybe 5 properties, and then when you click on each property, it'll show you like a score of how fun it is based on what you searched. I joined just right now and I don't know, but I'm not getting anything. What do you mean, Aryan? Oh, what are we building now and how are we building? Got it. Okay. So we've been building a real estate agent, and this is what our app does. You can look for a house in Seattle or any other city, and you basically have to describe in plain English what you want. You don't have to describe any filters, and just by using plain English, we can help you look up houses. So then once you look for like a 3-bedroom house in Seattle in this to this range, it will show you a bunch of properties that match the description that you've given. And then you can also say something like should have a backyard or front yard. And so once you pass that in, we'll be able to parse that on our API side. And you look here, it says nice to haves are backyard and front yard. And what happens is if you don't give any price ending or price starting, we like assume a price ending and starting of like 100,000 to 1 million. This is a million, right? Oh, 10 million. So that's what we're building. Now, the agent that we want to add, we kind of want to emulate like a real estate agent itself, like a person. So what happens is that when you're looking for a house, you have like 5 or 6 houses that you kind of like, even if you have searched on Zillow or you found it somewhere else. Um, yes, the GitHub link. I need to pin that. There you go. Pin message. So there is the pinned repo, and in the README you'll find like details of what this is, what we're doing, and how to set it up. Okay, so if we emulate like a real estate agent, and if we want our agent to do kind of the same thing, what does a real estate agent do once we find some properties? They'll ask us some more questions and they'll ask us our preferences, right? So they'll ask, like, well, if you want a fun neighborhood, then they'll give their recommendation, which is this is not the kind of property you may want, or this is the kind of property in the right kind of neighborhood, and things like that, right? So once you select a few properties, we can also call in our agent and then put our agent at that point. So at this point, what we can do is we are using our Zillow API to call the agent, to call the API. So we've got like a few apps. And then what we can do is we can we can filter some properties out. So we can click like, and then once you have like 3 or 4 properties selected, we can show like a search box, and that's where we can call our agent. So that's where we're gonna pivot this app a little bit and call our agent in. Okay, so let's do that. I think the first thing we have to do is update our front end. So right now we actually show you like 20 properties, I think. Let's limit the properties so that we're showing you like 5 properties, and that'll just make it easier for us to pop in our agent. And usually that's what agents do as well. They'll give you like 5 properties and they'll ask you to like rate them, describe any, see if you have any other questions. So let's do that. So in our app JSX, if you remember, in one of these like endpoints, parse properties, which is how we like we when you send in English language, we call this API the first thing, which is API/parse properties. We actually put a note down here which says it looks up walkability score, populates walkability score in the database for each property in the list, ranks properties by walkability score, and returns it, right? Now the problem with didn't understand anything, but it was great to hear you. Understood. Good morning, Raj. How are you? Okay, now there's one problem with looking up walkability score for each property. The problem is that when we load all these properties, we're going to have to in parallel call agent for everything, but also we're going to be ending up spending so many tokens, and perhaps unnecessarily for properties that people may not be interested in. So instead of doing that, we're going to show like 5 properties, and we're going to say if you have a question for it, or if you want to get more details of this property, then you can click this, right? So basically we're going to call our agent when a person selects a property and wants to understand more about that property. So let's go ahead and where was our app JSX? I think it's in at the top. We send you 20 properties, right? Uh, there it is. So we've got all data.ref current slice 0 to 20. So let's do 5. And the reason is we want to show you less properties. So actually, let's do, yeah, 5 is good. Let's do 5 properties. And once we do that, I think what we can do is you can have a load more button. So you can always see more properties if you want. Oh, that's not 5. Okay, so we've got 5 properties in here. It kind of looks ugly. We could actually have like 6 properties. Let's do 4 properties. I think 4 would be better. Where is it? And then once you load more, do we still see more properties? Cool. We see more properties as you load more. Perfect. And then instead of load more, I'm going to call it show more. No more properties to load. Cool. How do you use AI in your workflow? Um, in this workflow, actually, we're using AI to do a bunch of different things. When you write this English language sentence and you send it over to the API, we actually call OpenAI to parse this English language into structured output, which is JSON. And then once you get that information back, we also show you like this thumbs up and thumbs down, and that is being used to populate our recommendation engine. We're not really showing that right now, but we use this thumbs up and thumbs down to show recommendation engine and like to show recommended properties, which means we'll show you more properties that are kind of similar to this property. And that is also using AI. We generate embeddings and we do a vector search to check which properties are similar to the ones that you just liked in our database. And now what we're doing is we're creating an agent so that once you see 4 properties, like few properties, you can ask more questions about this property. So you could say something like, at this point, what we could do is we can ask like a little chatbot here, and we can say, out of these properties, which ones do you like? So you could say something like, or like we could say, do you have any questions about these properties? So then the user would say, is this property the first property or the second property or this address in a fun neighborhood? And then if you, once you say that, then the real estate agent will be able to like find more things about it, and then it would say something like, do you want me to make a booking? And so you can also make a booking through that as well. So this way we make it easy for people to like schedule an appointment or like to find, or even like find more answers about this without having to like look up on Google. Because usually what happens when you're looking for a property, you find it on Zillow and then you do your own research. You like use this address and then you like look up on Google what are some other things to do. You find it in maps. You find out like if there's restaurants around it, what is the neighborhood like. You'll look up its crime score, things like that. But then our real estate agent can do that for you. You could even ask it more things like what are some what are some like nice to have things about this, like what are some unique features about this house. So the AI agent can, or the real estate agent can actually do that for you as well, because it can look up on the web, and then it can know what other things you are looking for. So we can do that for you. How are we integrating AI agent? I don't get it. I just joined. Yeah, so what we are doing is we're using AI agent to kind of emulate what a real estate agent does, in the sense that, let's say you have four properties that you are interested in. You can ask the real estate agent more questions. So you can ask it like, is this property in a nice neighborhood? What is the neighborhood like? Things like that. So let's go ahead. What I really want to do here is have like a chat agent, um, but I kind of don't want to include a chatbot. So let's do this. I'm going to add an input field, and once we show some properties, we're going to show an input field, and that's where I'm going to call my agent. So that's going to be my real estate agent. So let's do this. We've got get properties here, and then we've got our recommendations. Let's actually comment out recommendations. We don't need that right now. But before the load more button, or maybe after the load more button, that could be like the last thing on our page, we're going to add if get properties. If we have properties dot length greater than 0, then we're going to add an input field here. Input. Hold on, do I have the input, or do I have a plain input in here? Search input. Okay, I just have simple input. So let's add that here. I'm going to say, I'm going to call my real estate agent here. Input. Hold on, what happened? That's not something I did. Oh, there. I'm going to call my real estate agent here. So real estate agent. All right, and then I'm going to create a new component called real estate agent. Component, new file, real estate agent. And this is where I'm going to call my agent. New folder, real estate agent. All right, and then this is going to be a const real estate agent equals. This is just going to be a default, like a input field. So I'm going to give a div of an input, and then I'm going to copy the same styles as my search bar. Actually, let's copy this over. Cancel this. Property. I'm gonna pause in a second to ask questions, but stay with me for a while. I think it'll make sense. Import real estate agent from here. Now when I look for a property, I say try an example search in the range of this to this. Search this up. Something went wrong. What's the problem? I got my real estate agent here. Real estate agent comes, get properties.length greater than 0, real estate agent. And am I importing this correctly? Real estate agent, add props and imports. Oh, okay. Yes, please. There you go. I don't need no search. I guess it's fine. Okay. Try an example search. And then where is my thing? I don't see it here. Oh, I don't have on change as well. Okay. Wrap JSX and return statement. Okay. Let's add value here. Value equals search input, set search input. Sure, why not? Search, reload. Forgot to return. Did I forget to return? Oh, you're right. There we go. Why JavaScript? Why not Python? JavaScript because JavaScript is a language of the web, and if you're building a web app, it's important to know JavaScript. I think for Python, it's good for doing AI in the back, or like building backend APIs using Python. But when you're building on the front end, like you're using React, you're using just plain JavaScript. JavaScript is important. I'm also comfortable with JavaScript in the backend, so I continue to use that. Of course, you can use Python for building the like the AI agent stuff and any of the backend stuff. Python is not my language of choice. I'm not comfortable with it, so that's why JavaScript for me. Okay, let's search this again. Okay, nice, it's here. Let's fix this UI a bit. I don't know why hot module reloading is not working on this. Okay. Now real estate agent. I want the width to be what is it? Width full, and then Where can I officially contact you? Oh, send me a message on LinkedIn, Raj. I was thinking about a meetup idea. This would involve a well-known blockchain. Cool, let's do it. Send me a message on LinkedIn. This is my LinkedIn. And if you do send me a message, please add like a note saying you are reaching out from the stream. Otherwise, it just gets buried. Yo, Didi, what's up? Hi. Wait, let me see if I can pronounce your name. Vex the Furnish. Can you confirm the dates from Mumbai once? My dates are still tentative, but most likely I will be there on the 22nd. 22nd, 21st. 21st and 22nd, I think those are the dates. Because I'm flying out on 23rd. Let me check. 22nd is Thursday, 23rd is when I'm flying out. 21st is Wednesday. Dhanish. Oh, gotcha. Hi, Dhanish. Okay, so we were doing that, and then we're gonna reload this, make it look pretty. This looks. For example, search. I'm just gonna keep agent at the bottom, and I don't like all of this padding, so I'm gonna smooth this out. Width 4. There. Okay, I think this is decent. There's a lot of padding in here, so we can get rid of that later. We don't have to do that right now. But let's keep going. So this is where I want to add my agent. Okay, I'm going to also add the shadow back because it's hard to see it. Okay, this is where I'm going to add my agent. So what I want to say here is that, oh, object. What I want to say here is that ask a question about your properties. And then why do we have an agent? Why do we have this coming? I think this is coming from here. Let's remove this value for a second. Why is this object coming? Value is search input. Oh, what happened here? Try an example. Search. Okay, ask a question about your properties, and then I can say something like, what is the neighborhood for 134 34 40th Avenue? What is the neighborhood like for 134 40th Avenue? And if I hit search, then that's when I want to call my agent. Okay. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna show you a bunch of properties. Then we can say what is the neighborhood for like this property. Um, why has it reset? That's weird. Shouldn't reset. Anyways, so we're gonna say 13434 40th Avenue. We're gonna say what is the neighborhood like, and then when you hit search, we're gonna call our agent. The real estate agent is gonna give us answers back, and then we're gonna show those answers down here as well. Actually, let's move show more properties to the top. Never mind. We'll fiddle with the AI with the UI later. We'll make it look pretty later. But right now, I want to get the functionality going. I'm gonna pause here to see if there's any questions about agents, about how we're using agents, how we're gonna, what we're doing. Any questions that I can answer. I'm gonna move the sticker at the bottom too. Is it like Google search debouncing with agent? It's like Google search except it's web search, and then we're using a tool for doing that. So um, we don't call Google ourselves. We just let the agent do the job of calling whatever it needs to call for doing the web search. Okay, we're gonna take a quick break here. If you have questions about this, put it in the chat. I will come back and answer those questions. But let's take a quick 5-minute break and get some stretching in. I will see you in a second. Okay, I am here and Pepper is here. I see that some people requested Pepper Cam, so where's Pepper? Look, there she is. Good girl. Okay. um, I would love to participate in building the project from scratch. Oh, that would be awesome, Upinder. I think next project, let's do it like a community project. I will choose the tools, and you all build either the same idea or a different idea, and then we'll do like a hackathon thing, and then we'll have prizes. I think that'll be fun, and we'll do like a week-long project. So this way, it's not just like just that day. You can take the whole week to do it, um, and then we'll have prizes. Hey, Astha, how are you? Good to see you here. I am doing great. I have made my chai and I have my chai snacks, my desi biscuit, which I'm gonna dip in my chai. Um, break time screen should be pepper cam. I would do that, except she always follows me, so it's really gonna be pepper following cam. Hi Sneh, how's it going? Ujwal, I'm doing great. How are you, Ujwal? Parle Ji. This is actually if you're Punjabi, you would recognize. Maybe not my half-eaten biscuit. If you're Punjabi, you would recognize this. This is called Pipe Wale biscuit. Pipa biscuit. Um, it is it's a staple in our cha with some namak pare. Proper desi chai. Okay, so we've been building this AI agent, and today is kind of the final day where we're gonna wrap up the agent. We're gonna plug into our app, and then we're gonna use that as our real estate agent. So like to emulate what the real estate agent would do, and ultimately we kind of want to make it easier for people to find properties and for real estate agents to have more qualified leads. And so once somebody has found a property they like, they have some other questions, instead of asking the real estate agent, like the person, they could ask this app, this AI, and that could answer the questions for them. Common questions people have about properties is like, what is the neighborhood like? What is the kind of appraisal rate for this property? What kind of, and then once you have like the address, you can also look for like what is the school district like in the US. That is a thing where you go to schools in your own district, which is like if you're in that neighborhood, you go to schools in that neighborhood. So depending on where you live, you would be going to that particular school. So how good the schools are depends on where you live. And so for folks who have kids, it is important for them to like look for houses in a good school district. That's something that we can use AI to do for us instead of having to like manually search that. What name? I know this is a good biscuit. I don't think it has a name. It's just called Pipe Wale biscuit. Pipa means can, like a tin can. You can find it in Indian stores. Okay, so that's what we're gonna do today. And quick call to action. If you haven't subscribed, would you be kind enough to hit that subscribe button? We're trying to get to 5,000 subscribers, and we're at 3590 subscribers today. So thank you so much for supporting me and hitting that subscribe button. Your support means a lot to me, and whatever way you can help is totally appreciated. Okay, let's get into it. Before I get started into the next section of this live stream, is there any question I can answer about this app, what we're building, or anything else? Are we using Gemini key or OpenAI key for agent? We're using OpenAI. The question is, what is your skincare routine? My good genes. My skincare routine is cleanser, toner, serums, depending on what concerns I have, moisturizer, skin sunscreen for the morning, and then for the evening, double cleansing if I am wearing makeup, double cleansing, followed by a toner, either a retinol cream that night or a exfoliant with hyaluronic acid, and wrap that up with a thick moisturizer overnight. Sometimes I do this Korean skincare, which is wow, I forget the name. I'm gonna send this to you. I don't know if this was a serious question, but I'm gonna take it seriously and answer everything. Korean face masks. This one. Collagen. That's what I was looking for. Collagen? Collagen? You leave it overnight. You let it like sink in, and then when you wake up in the morning, your face is so soft. Yes. So cleanser, toner, some sort of serum, moisturizer, and then sunscreen. Same thing in the night. I replace sunscreen with retinol before that. Kind of new. Can you explain data flow of this project? Yes, absolutely. I actually had like a little architecture diagram. I'm going to open that up. Okay, here is the architecture. Okay, so this is kind of the architecture of this. We've got our front end application here on the right side. Then what happens is when somebody writes in the search box a text like I'm looking for a 3-bedroom house, we call at this point, this is the red line is kind of the interface between backend and front end. So we call our backend API, which uses this natural language, the English language text, to send it over to OpenAI. OpenAI then parses this natural language into JSON and sends it over to us in this form. So if you've noticed in our app, in the console, we have this kind of JSON coming back. That is being sent back by the AI, by OpenAI. So what we're doing is we're basically just like using OpenAI that LLM to parse our English language into a structure that we can understand, that the API can understand. So we get that JSON back, and then we send this over to our backend, which is then the API route, the Zillow API, working API. That's the API we're calling to get our properties back. So you'll notice here we have all these properties. They're actually coming from API. They're not in the database. They're coming from an API. And that is here. So they come from Zillow API, and then we send it over to our front end, and then we display the properties. Now, another situation here is when, in this one, when we like a property, and this is similar for what we're doing for the agents as well. I'll create another graph for agents, like another diagram for agents, and I'll put that in the video that I'm making, which is going to be released this week. So that video is gonna be a condensation of everything that we've been doing in the live stream, but also show you how agents are built, what is an agent used for. I've also made another video that talks about what is an agent. It's available on this channel, on this YouTube channel. You can find it. And so basically what happens is, let's say that somebody has liked a property. So we get an event, we get a liked a property thing, and we know like what are the things of the property that they like. The biggest thing that here we're looking for is a Zillow PID, Zillow property ID. That's how we recognize any property. So we send that over to our backend. Again, we send it over to our backend, and then we send, actually I did not draw a arrow here, so let me just draw this arrow real quick. Okay, so we have this event that is somebody liked a property. We know which property it is, so we send that over to our backend, which is /save property. And why we're doing that is because when you like something, it helps us generate better recommendations for the properties, right? So we say API/properties, and then we send that property over to our OpenAI. We generate embeddings. What is an embedding? Embedding is just the way AI is able to understand what vector representation of a JSON block or English language text or whatever you pass in, what that looks like in a vector format. So for example, if you send a text like hello, that could be converted into a vector format, which is just numbers. It looks like this. Embedding looks exactly like this. So it could be converted into this numbers format, and this helps AI understand what this looks like and helps it to do a comparison search. So what it can do is, if you've given it two vectors like this and another vector like this, it would be able to convert those. It would be able to compare those two and understand how similar they are. And so what we do is we create embeddings through OpenAI. We call this function called generate embeddings. And then once we've generated an embedding, we put that in our database, which is Convex for us. And why we're putting this in Convex is because Convex gives us a function called vector search that accepts embeddings, but also helps to compare two different vectors with each other and generates a score. So it will say something like 0.94, 0.93, and that basically means how similar they are to each other. And that score is really helpful for us because it can be used to compare how close two properties are to each other, and therefore generate a recommendation that if you like a property A, you would also like this other property B. So that helps to generate recommendations. Now, this is about the recommendation engine that we've built. We are building an AI agent which kind of does similar stuff. We've got the UI, we send an event which is, I have a question about this property, this is the address. So we send it an address, right? So the input would be the address and the question. Then we're going to send it over to our OpenAI. And we have created an agent here. So for us, that's going to be, the backend is going to be an agent, and the agent is going to call the tools that it has at its disposal. And then it's going to use the tool, which is Tavily Search, which does like a web search. And then it's going to find out questions that you've asked and give you back the answers. So it's going to either look it up in its own LLM, which is OpenAI's LLM, or if it doesn't have that information, it's going to call a tool, which is Tavily Search. That's what the agent is doing. So now if you look here, we've got this like search. We search for a property. It gives us back like 4 properties. And then I've added this like little input field at the bottom, which is kind of imagined as a chatbot. This is where my real estate agent comes in. And then the agent is going to ask a question about your property. So you could say something like, is the property like this? I also want to implement like a copy address feature because I can then use it to copy address. This 13434 10th 40th Avenue in a safe neighborhood. Right? If I ask LLM this question, or the agent this question, I want the agent to look up answer for this. How is it going to do that? Using web search. So let's build that. If you have been following me on this live stream, you would remember that we've already built our agent. It kind of already does this, right? So we've got this agent. Actually, I need to give you the link of the GitHub as well, which is here. I'm going to pin this in the chat. Pin this. And all of the code is available in the GitHub. So in this agent.ts file, you'll notice that we have this real estate agent. It accepts your property details, and it's got this tool called Web Tool. And so what it does is it actually creates like a agent. This is using LangGraph's React agent. And we create an agent, we pass it the model, which is going to be OpenAI for us. We pass it the tool. For us, we created this score tool yesterday, but I'm going to change it to Web Tool, which is the web search tool. And then we're going to ask it whatever question you want. So for example, this question that we asked yesterday was how many fun restaurants are close to this property within a 0.5 mile radius. So you can understand this is how we're going to use the agent. And then it'll give us back answers. So it's going to say agent next state. The answer is going to be in messages and then dot content. So that's what we're going to get back from it. And then we're just going to export back the answer that comes back. So that is our plan for the next few minutes. That's what we're going to do. We can also use local Llama or Gemini because OpenAI needs subscription. We can use local, yeah, Gemini as well. We can use local AI as well. My dermatologist told me stick with 3 products. I'll show this to her. Yeah, I think if you have sensitive skin, then they might ask you to stick with like a few products, products that are good for sensitive skin, especially ones that have no fragrance in it. So how you started doing code, a quick recap. I came here from my ex account. I actually made a video on that, my coding journey. I'll share it with you. If I can find it. There it is. Just matching word, which is closely to that. Not exactly word, but more like embedding. Are you using OpenAI output directly on front end, or are you generating filters for recommendation using data for the database? So OpenAI will give you a embedding. Then you use that embedding, put it in the database. Then the database does this vector search. The database Convex is the one that is doing search of 2 different properties using their embeddings to find out how close they are. So OpenAI is not doing the recommendation. OpenAI is not doing the filtering. It's our database. With embedding, if we store product data, we can't search for the exact pricing, right? Okay, so with embedding, what you can do is, I'll show you actually in the database. That's a good question. So because Convex is a AI-friendly database, you can store your embedding within the database. And then you can also, here it is, we've got the embedding here, but I've also got my pricing here and my image source here and everything else that I need here. So I've got my price right here. So I've got everything that I need in my database. I've got my embedding, I've got my score, I've got my price, I've got my address. Anything I need, I can look up from the database, which is why it's really cool. There are some databases that don't let you enter embeddings, don't let you enter like that vector format. So that can be tricky and how to kind of do that. Then you'll have to like generate embeddings on the fly and you can't store it. So that's a problem. But for us, we can store it much easier. Are we going to use any distance matching algo? We don't need to do that because our tool Tavily Web Search is able to do that for us. So what it can do is if we ask it, is there like a look at that 0.5 mile radius, right? We asked it that how many fun restaurants are there within a 0.5 mile radius. It's able to do that. So this tool is pretty powerful. This was the first video I saw. Really? I think this was also maybe like one of the first videos I made as well. I think I was just feeling like I want to make videos, but I have no idea what I want to make video. So I'll just get started, and I made this video, and people really loved it. And I was surprised. I was like, who the hell wants to hear my journey? But people really loved it. And I was like, yay, I guess I have something to share. Okay, let's get started. So it's a property 134 in a safe neighborhood. We're gonna open our console, and then we're gonna hook up our real estate agent in here. I'm gonna open my app JSX. So I think what we did in a second ago was we added value of search input and everything here. We actually don't need any of this because the user is gonna send us the address and everything. So we're gonna say value or user input. And see, now we're gonna actually import our LLM as well, the one that we just created. So we're gonna say constant. Move this into this. We're gonna move this into this, and then I'm gonna say I'm gonna return this here, and then I'm gonna say const user input. User input. We don't actually need this. Value equals user input, and then not on change, but rather we don't want to do anything on change. React.useState on change, set user input this. Okay, now we've got user input, and then when we actually submit this, on submit equals handle submit, and this is where we're gonna call e.prevent default, and this is where we're gonna call first thing. Now remember, user is still sending us English language, right? So we're gonna pass user input to JSON, and then what are we gonna do that? Because JSON will give us something like this. We need a user address, and then we need their question, right? And then we're going to send this to our agent, because agent is the one that is accepting property details, and it's the one that's asking this question. So we're going to ask it this question that the user is sending us, question, and then the user is this is address and question. Let's ask it user question. It's called property address. User question. Okay. I think the only thing I need to do is provide this property address here. So let's see if we can add that as part of the configurable. I'm not really sure how to do that, so let's go ahead and find that. I don't know what's in configurable. I can probably set that as the so configurable is actually how we like set agent memory, and if I can set that in the memory, that'll be easy. Okay, configurable fields is temperature and vocal. Look at that. Arguments, location, San Francisco. Okay, let's see. So we've got human message here, we've got the ID, AI message is this, input is this. How do we provide like a addition to the oh, there it is, adding in memory. As mentioned earlier, the agent is stateless. This means it does not remember previous interactions. To give it memory, we need to pass in a checkpointer. When passing in a checkpointer, we also have to pass in a thread ID when invoking the agent, so it knows which thread conversation to resume from. Okay. For chunk in messages, hi, I'm Bob, config this, agent this, it's nice to meet you, response this, messages this, what's my name, it remembers. If you want to start a new conversation, all you have to do is change the thread ID used. So for us, actually, you notice here thread ID is 42. We have every time we create a new property address or we ask a question about a new property address, we have to change its thread ID. What we could also do is we could store this thread ID within our database. Because our property exists in the database, we can just pull that property up if we have the zip ID. Okay, let's look back into how we can add property address. Oh, I think everything is done through thread ID. I'm also curious what other options are there in configurable. Agent. Configurable field type. What's in configurable field type? You can use property ID as thread ID for that property. Oh, that's a good idea. If that supports non-number strings. Yeah, that is actually a good idea. Except what we have to do then is if we look for a property, looking for a 3-bedroom house. Let's try this example search and then we hit this. When a user types in that address, oh, what happened? When the user types in that address, they don't know the property ID. So we actually have to pull that property ID from the list of properties that are already displayed. Or we can make the user like click on a property and then show the message. That's not the best use case. That's not the best user experience, but it's doable. Okay, something went wrong. What book? I think I probably forgot to export something. Let's see, try an example search. Okay, let's see what's going on. Console. Use state is not defined. Okay. All right. What else? So search. Okay, what else? Did I save this? Value is not defined. Okay, I should probably listen to my AI telling me what to do. Okay, is that good enough? What else? Reload. Try an example search. Okay, cool. Alrighty, so let's say that in my UI, I've got my user input and then the real estate agent, and then they're asking a question about your properties. So when they write something, we've got value is user input, and then we're gonna send this user input to our LLM, to our agent, to our front end, to our LLM API, which is the one that's parsing that English language text into a question and an address. That's what we're gonna do, because we need to send that question over to our agent, which is gonna search based on the address. Let's also try this. Let's just send the input that we get back from this input field over to our agent and see what it does. So we've got agent handle submit here, and at this point we're gonna call our agent import agent from API. And I believe this accepts a property address, so we're just gonna say user question. So we're gonna log user question, and we're gonna say user question. Let's see what we get back. I'm sure there's gonna be some gaps, but we're gonna figure it out. So we got human message, user question. We're given it in thread ID. This is where we have to change it so that it's unique to that specific property. So let's go ahead and see what we get back so far. So we're gonna call our agent, import, what is it called? Real estate agent, export default real estate agent, import real estate agent. So we're gonna call real estate agent and then pass in the user question of user input, and then we're gonna console log const result is this. Let's see what we get back. Console.log result. Okay. Reload this. App blew up. User question is user input. We've got user input here. This one here. Agents. Log the user question. User question. Okay. Alrighty, what happened? Something blew up. Inspect. Process is not defined. Oh, we can't call it like this because it's a node process. So that's fine. We have an API endpoint. Let's export our agent through this through this API endpoint. We've got API/property details. We're gonna add app.post or get rather. app.get/agent, or let's call it real estate agent. Real estate agent. Request user question, request.query, response is real estate agent, user question, response this, response.send, response. Perfect. And we have to import a real estate agent here. Import this. Now in this, all we have to do is, we can't do this, we're gonna call our fetch. Const fetch real estate agent. get body stringify. Sweet. All right. So helpful, this AI. All right, so we got the result. We're going to call our real estate agent, and then we're going to send our user question, which is a user input, and let's see what we get back. So if I reload this, cool. I'm going to search for property. I'm going to look for that. Some errors in here. Connection. What happened? Search for property 500 in parse properties. I don't think I changed anything in parse properties. Let's go ahead and check API, our API routes. Okay, nothing changed. Oh, right. Slash API slash this. Alrighty. This is fine. Okay, reload. Oh no, it totally crashed on me. Okay, restart. Oh, what happened? Unknown file extension. API agent.ts. Interesting. It does not allow me to use it does not allow me to use TypeScript on the server. I had no idea. Is that true? JSON type module. I have type module. Huh. TS on the server. I had no idea I could not use a TypeScript file on the server. That sounds unreasonable. Let's try this. And I'm going to see what AI has to say about this. I don't think you can run JavaScript file while importing TypeScript, and I need to compile it first into JavaScript. Oh, I think if I do TSX and then Node, that might work. Let me try that actually real quick. So rename this TypeScript and then save this, go to API, save this into TS. Let's try that. What is it? NPX TSX? I think that's what it does. Or is it TSX? Source agent? No, what is the TSX command? Yeah, that should be it. npx tsx source API slash API dot js. Oh, maybe it won't do JavaScript. Oh no, that's fine. Okay. Now if I save this and rerun this, I guess computer is being a little slow. What's going on? Let's open a new tab, localhost 5173. There we go. Try an example search, hit search. Cool, that's going through. And now if I write is 1112 North 20th Street, Seattle, in a fun neighborhood. And then if I hit just search, let's see what we get back. Which we're gonna log in the front end, inspect, console, search for it. Where are we logging this again? Okay, let's go back to our agent file. Yes. User question. This should be coming in here. Are we even hitting the route? Real estate agent. Let's debug this. So we need real estate agent, and this is what we're going to debug. What is the value we get back here on change? Let's look this up again. I'm going to copy this, search this. Okay, what does handle submit do? See? Stupid AI. Okay. What do we get back? Fetch. What is your problem? API slash real estate agent. Why is it a squiggly line? Response basic. Redirected false. Status 404. API slash real estate agent. It says is not found. Okay, I'm gonna play that. What's the problem? Go into my API. API slash API.get post. Okay. Save this. Try an example. Try it again. Looking for a fun neighborhood. Okay, what is the data? Data is play. Unexpected token, doc type is not a valid JSON. Something else came back basically. Oh, real estate agent is cannot post to API real estate agent. So we're gonna debug real estate agent then. Let's go to API slash just API. Console.log API real estate agent. Longest room today. Yeah. Why not? Will Shake, how are you? Real estate agent. Okay. Okay, reload. totally broke? Okay, localhost 5173. Try an example search. Search for a property. Okay. Is 134 1112 North 80th Street 181 neighborhood. If I hit search, cannot read properties of undefined. Additional arguments. Is that a real address? It likely is. Finally got test working in my project, so quite great. Nice. How goes the real estate AI? Really good. Almost towards the end. Okay, so we've got user question coming. Nice. Almost towards the end, so let's get to it. All right, let's search. Is this in a fun neighborhood? All right, so now it called my real estate thing. Console.log.json. What is am I getting back? I think that might be an error again. Fingers crossed. Okay, so the problem right now is that it thinks that API route is not defined real estate agent. So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Why is that happening? Change TS to JS. Real estate agent.ts. Why do you want me to change that to JavaScript? Oh, I think I have a meeting in 5 minutes. Rubber duck debugging time. I know. Okay, so I have a meeting in 5 minutes. I'm gonna stop here. We're gonna come back tomorrow. By that time, I will have figured out what the problem is and I'll do a final demo of the app. Tonight, I'm gonna wrap this up and tomorrow morning, I'll demo what is going on. I'll do like an architecture walkthrough. I'm also recording this video this week, so if you are interested in how to build an agent and how this agent even works, I will show all of that within that video, which is gonna come out this week. Push it to GitHub. Okay, I will debug. I will push it to GitHub in a few minutes. After my meeting, I'm gonna come back and work on this a little bit more, and then I'll push it to GitHub. Actually, why not? Let me just push it to GitHub. in progress, adding real estate agent. Get push. Wait, did I skip steps? Oh shit. Git add, not gutty add. Okay, git status. Git commit. Okay. What time is it? 12:57. Estate agent. Git push. Alright, there you go. I'll be back in 30 minutes, but I will see you all tomorrow. Bye, folks. Thank you for joining me today.